All Things Cybersecurity webinar is brought to you by ACI Learning. Be bold, train smart. For loaning us our guests today, we want to give a big thanks to Black Hills Information Security, because testing should be collaborative, not adversarial. And don't forget, in just a few short months, come on out to Hack SpaceCon. You can join us April 10th through the 13th in sunny Central Florida at the Kennedy Space Center. And hey, while you're here, check out TechNado, your weekly source for the latest in security news. You can join us every Thursday for a brand new episode. Well, welcome, and thank you so much again for joining us for this week's All Things Cyber. I'm Sophie Goodwin. I'm going to be your host, question collector, moderator. I have a host of jobs on this show, and I'm not alone. If you've been here before, you know, over to my right is Mr. I forgot for a second.
She's like, which one?
Yeah. The camera flips. It mirrors things. Yeah. I'm regressing back to second grade. Daniel Lowry, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Glad to be here. Glad to have you here. How are you?
You
No one ever asks her how she is, so
Thank you.
I'm going to do that today.
You know, it's actually been a really tough day. They were out of my mocha sauce at the coffee place. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Did you go in the crying room for a little while?
I did. I went in the crying
As
room
you
and I
should.
sobbed
As you should.
openly. Yeah, left them a 1-star review. The whole big thing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. And thank you for being here, even though you don't have a choice. But
I'm
of course,
chained to the desk.
we're looking forward to getting into questions today. And Daniel is not going to be the only one answering questions. We have a guest, as always. He is a return guest, or a repeat guest, if you will, newly of Black Hills Information Security. It's Zach Hill. Are you excited?
Oh, Mr. Zacharias. I know that's not your real name, but it is now. Hey,
Zacchaeus.
Yes, let us bring one Mr. Zacchaeus to the show.
Hello.
Welcome, sir. How's it going today?
It's going amazing today. How are you doing today, Sophie? I know you're already doing wonderful, but I thought I would ask since, you know,
I know.
it's the
We have a
polite
lot
thing
of
to do.
like worry for you right now.
I was going to say, is
Yeah.
there like an intervention coming or something? Did they talk to you guys?
So
Like, you
listen,
check in with
we
her.
have brought you here.
Look how brightly I'm dressed.
Yeah,
I'm obviously happy.
You're in a safe space.
It's impossible to not have a good time here on this show and in this room. So thank you for
Yeah.
asking, Zach. I'm
Yeah,
doing well. I'm very
for
excited
sure.
to have you here with us,
Yeah.
as is Daniel. And you looking forward to jumping into some of these questions?
Of course. I'm excited to be here.
Right.
Let's go.
That's kinda
I'm ready.
Zach's thing,
I'm just
right?
ready to get started.
Right, Zach?
Yeah.
This is your passion in life, if I'm not mistaken. Knowing you as I do, if Zach
Yeah,
likes doing
that's my
anything,
jam.
it is helping people get into an IT career. Hence the whole IT career questions YouTube page that you have going on, which is awesome and has been doing always phenomenally. So that's
Thank
why
you, sir.
we love having
Yeah.
you on, because a lot of the questions we get, just going to throw it out there, kind of are geared that way. And, you know, what can I do to make myself more marketable? What can I do? Like, what are some of the steps I can take? So we love having you on because you always have your finger on the pulse of that. And as someone who has recently obtained a new gainful employment at a very well-known company, I was just, did we mention Black Hills? Because we didn't mention Black Hills. We should probably take a moment to mention Black Hills. And that, Zach, tell us a little bit about that, if you would. What are you going to be doing there? What's your new role? And are you excited? I'm going to go with probably yes.
So just to start out, that it is honestly, like literally a dream come true. And I've said that actually for quite some time. Like that, if there's any place that I could see myself going that really that aligns with my vision of helping people, and genuinely wants to do so, like it's Black Hills Information Security, like hands down. Been following them for a long time, so they've inspired me in many ways. And it's always so amazing to see that there are other people out there in the community who really care about giving back and helping other people. And, you know, like ACI Learning and IT Pro, like you guys are very well known for that as well. So like I have to give you guys credit for that too, you know, like being part of the community, which you guys do very well, is extremely important to people who are trying to find success in an IT career. Like, you know, as we all know, like 4 years ago, everything changed. And nowadays, like the more that you can be part of these different communities that are out there in the world of IT, right? And especially like on social networks and stuff like LinkedIn, Discord and all that, like you can find success. Like you can be successful working in this field, you know, and I'm a big advocate of encouraging people that they can find success, that they will be successful, and they can learn the things that they need to take their career to the next level. And So far, as you said, with like the IT Career Questions YouTube channel, and just like my history and all that, like I genuinely, like, my purpose in life is to help people, and I'm just a total nerd. So I'm like very lucky and blessed that like the avenue and delivery mechanism, if you will, that I am allowed to help people is just like revolving around information technology. So yeah, I'm sorry for speaking so long, but very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be at Black Hills. I'm just excited to help more people, and that's what it's like. And that's why I'm here today, right? Like that's the whole purpose of me being here today, is to help more people, and that is my mission in life. So
Hmm.
I'm very lucky that I get to do that. So thank you for having me here.
Indeed, super lucky. We're all really lucky to be able to do this and help
Hmm.
people and steer them toward resources, answer their questions, and in some way, almost remotely mentor people at a microcosm at a time. And that's really cool, because a lot of times there are people out there and they just have that one nagging thing that just they can't find the right answer to, or they're not getting to where they need to be, and they don't know why, and they've got that blind spot, and they don't know what to do. And of course we go, oh yeah, it's just that thing right there. And that's the the thing that breaks the dam and allows them to continue on forward and make it to the next step and whatever they're trying to do. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing it with you. We've known each other for quite some time now, and we've always chewed some of the same grass and for the same purposes. So it's always a pleasure to have you on, and I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to answer questions today. I'm excited for Sophia. Sophia is obviously excited. You can see it. She's just a crazy
I'm
person.
It's
excited
in my
for
eyes.
Sophie.
You can see
Sophie,
it.
are you doing okay today? Are you doing well? Just
We
checking
keep
in.
going back. We have to have constant check-ins with Sophia.
It's funny because depending on, sometimes it takes a little bit for questions to start coming in just because
Yeah.
people are tuning in at the beginning. So I was going to ask, you already kind of answered it, but you're asking how I'm doing. I was actually going to ask, it's February, Valentine's Day's coming up, love's in the air. I was going to ask what you guys love about your jobs and about what you do. And Zach, you kind of mentioned that you just love helping people. You love the community. And it seems like you kind of echoed that. So you answered the question without me even having to ask it. You guys are just that
That's
talented.
right. We're keyed in.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Yeah.
feel it in the universe.
Nailed it.
I did that in my
What's
head.
the next one? Let's go.
I always like to ask the question of like, so I know you're kind of geared into a bit of a marketing role and online presence. Obviously, that's kind of your stock and trade, what you do as far as your job goes. But obviously, you do have a lot of passions when it comes to IT and technology, and you have worked in those spaces and probably still do in some capacity. And so I always like to kind of come out of the gate with you. If you're like anybody, I don't care how far you've made it, you're never satisfied with where you are. You want to continually level up. So what is Zach Hill doing right now? What's his plans to level up this year?
What's my plans to level up this year? I mean, unfortunately, like I don't think any of those plans leveling up are tech related, right? Because as you kind of like highlighted, a lot more of my role is kind of shifted to be more like community and content focused. That's which I absolutely love. The downside of that is that I don't get to be as technical as I would like to be. So it's like I always have to go out, outside of the normal hours of the day and like window of that I would have like available time, right? Like to set that time, like really just set a time aside so that I can and nerd out. One of the things that I really want to achieve this year is learning more about Python, because with some marketing things, there's a lot that can be like automated to just kind of help my process. But Python, totally tech related, right? And it's totally a technology that, especially like a programming language that like I feel like everybody should start to learn, or at least like have a grasp of and have like maybe a fundamental understanding of, because it is such a powerful language that can really do a lot.
Yeah, I
So that's
totally
kind of like
love
I'm
that
looking at.
idea. Yeah, and I love that flying your obvious nerd herd flag because he's like, yes, I am in kind of a marketing role, but I'm still going to tech nerd out because I'm going to use this Python thing to make
Yeah.
all the boring things that I do every day of my life more automated and hit the easy
Yeah.
button, because why wouldn't you? And like you say, Python's such a great language, such an easy language to kind of be your first. If you haven't dove into any, if you're a technical person or non-technical person, you can use Python in a very powerful way in just about any way you work it. So very good advice already from Zach is to go out there, learn that language, and then see how you can utilize that to automate some of the repetitive tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis. And it's just something as simple as learning how to like build a tool that will work with an API key so that you can update something very easily, or gather information from multiple different sites to kind of live in one spot. It's just so useful to be able to do those things that even if you're not in a tech role, having some knowledge in that is a really good idea. So I love that you're still taking your passion for IT and applying it into your current position. So that's really cool.
For sure. Yeah. And I want to get ahead of a question here because I feel like since we're talking about programming, right? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like since we're talking about programming, people are gonna be like, well, do I really need to like learn programming to work in IT? That's like, I get that question all the time. I'm sure you guys get that question all the time. It's probably showing up in the chat, right? But it's like, you do not need to know programming to work in IT. Like, it is not a requirement by any means. The only thing that I would like suggest for anybody to do is just kind of learn how, especially with like scripting. Like, let's throw programming out the window, like scripting, like Python, you know, the command line, right? Terminal, bash, right? Like, just have like a fundamental understanding of what like a script would do, right? Like, just be able to like look at us, like read a script and say, okay, like it looks like it's doing these things, right? Like it looks like it's going to reach out to a website and it's going to try to pull down information, right? Like it's very easy to learn like scripting and programming from a level there where you're just kind of like skimming it and getting a general idea of what it's doing. That is always going to be beneficial for you. But that does not mean that you need to be a programmer or need to actually learn how to write the scripts. Like, those are very, very different things at the end of the day. Being able to kind of read it and have like an understanding of what's going on and being able to write those things, very, very different. But I would definitely encourage everyone to at least have like a fundamental understanding where you can look at these scripts and just like have an idea of what's going on, or like know how to take that information and put it into Google to help you out.
I like how you nuance that, because you're right. You don't need to, and that's a very powerful word to say. I need. That's almost like a moral ought, right? You must learn this, or you are a completely useless person and you'll never get a job. No, absolutely correct. You do not need to learn. I have started saying though that I do see it a lot in a lot of different ways. Obviously, like you've pointed out, in a way that's not even a technical role per se, but that you can use it. And it does help you if you are going in for more technical positions. Just I've started trying to tell people, flip your brain. Instead of saying, do I need to learn it? Get it in your head to where, do I get to learn it? Should I? Is it something that will enrich my experience and my skills as someone who might not be working as a developer, but will it enrich me in my knowledge and skill set? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And that's why I would say, even if you're early in the game, you're a total noob, cool. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. There's plenty of room for everyone. And just like you said, start working on a scripting language, something that's simple and easy. You get to learn the basics of how that stuff works as far as like loops and variables and, you know, those basic core fundamentals that will allow you to look at those scripts and go, oh, I see what's going on here. Do not shy away from that. Don't make it like the big boogeyman in the corner. A, it's not that at all. And B, if you do end up enjoying it and liking it, it will help you. You'll be able to put that on a resume, which will help pad a resume and look even much better. And C, if you tend to get into a much more technical role, that will start to become much more relevant. And as you've built upon those skills and you start going, oh, okay, well, yeah, I know Python well enough to read it. Now let's get savvy enough to write it and start making my own tools. Now you got a GitHub repo. Now you're starting to build on top of that. So I love that idea of, yeah, right now it's not a need, but if you stop thinking of it as a big fat boogeyman over there who's going to, you know, come at you and it's just, oh, it's just too much. I've got so much to learn. Yes, you do. Everybody's got a bunch of stuff to learn. And go, hey, maybe I can just learn the foundations of this. If you love it, it becomes a superpower, because now I need something and I don't really find what I'm looking for. I'll build it. You know, it'll take some time. Now you got a passion project. You put that, like I said, on the resume. Not only do I have, you know, knowledge of scripting and or programming, I have experience with. Here are the things that I have built, and they work and they're useful. And I did that for my job. You know, it's really helpful as you move down the road and kick the can up the street to getting into higher levels of work and more technically acumen.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've definitely got some questions, and
Good.
so we are going to get to those. But I'm receiving word. I'm not kidding. I do have an earpiece.
We literally
I
have
really
earpieces.
do. I feel like Hitman.
I don't
with
hear
that
anything.
Card
Yeah.
going back. I'm receiving word. We apparently have some breaking news here on the show. So let's take a look at that. It's on the cover. I don't know what that means.
It's on the cover. Breaking
Oh,
news. Zach
duh,
Hill works
okay.
for Black Hills.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
hey,
I'm
look
like,
at that.
come on
I'm like,
now.
what cover?
I'm
are
like
we talking
panicking,
about?
like, what did I miss?
Yeah,
Like,
something
what's
is
going on?
wrong.
I see. Okay, I guess we've got more. We've got more breaking news.
Breaking
This is
news.
not. I am doing okay.
Sophie's doing
That
yes.
is the
Oh,
second
that's so
piece.
good to hear.
People are
I
gonna
was
start
so
leaving.
worried.
They're gonna like, this isn't what I came
Gosh.
for.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
gonna dip. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well,
for
let's get to
checking
those
in.
questions then. I know you
Yeah.
got some, right?
Oh, I do. I mean, I have questions, but this isn't about me. So we'll jump into some of
You
the
know,
questions.
I'm sorry, but I bet people come here just for the experience. You know, like that's why they are coming here. Like they want to see Daniel and Sophie, and like you guys do your banter. Like I bet you a lot of people come here for that.
I know, that's
'cause,
why
like,
my mom's
I
here.
appreciate it genuinely.
There's a bunch of sick
So keep
people out
doing
there.
that.
I'm
You're-
just kidding.
How dare you?
No.
Well, we do have questions. We've got folks watching LinkedIn, YouTube, Zoom, various and sundry platforms. So we'll get to this first one. This actually comes to us from Tiberius, who's watching from YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, Tiberius. Appreciate having you here.
Is it the Tiberius?
The Tiberius.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm now my heart
I
is
know.
beating.
I know. He's
rapidly.
starting to panic
Tiberius.
sweat. You can tell. Yeah.
Is it hot in here?
The sweat stain.
Because
Tiberius wants to know, what is the best lesson you've learned from creating YouTube videos for all these years? I can't speak to this. I don't have a YouTube channel that I use actively, but you guys can.
yeah, I have a very
Yeah,
meager YouTube channel.
You just
so-
posted like the other day. I saw it.
That doesn't mean it's like flourishing or like huge or anything. So,
Well,
but Zach, on the other hand,
Yeah,
That's true.
well, that's something.
so
It's like it's neglected right now. I'm hoping to get back to that
just
a
needs
little
a
bit. I
little
do
water
feel
and
bad about that.
sunshine. That's all.
It does.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It'll be
It'll be
fine.
great.
it'll photosynthesize.
I will be.
It's fine.
So
what are-
what-
Yeah,
yeah,
what
best
are the
lesson I've
lessons?
learned. You know, like a lot of people ask me, like over the years, like what advice do you have? You know, of like from doing this, right?
Mm.
And it's really like you just have to do it, and you're only going to get better the more that you do it. And that's like a very valuable just life lesson in general, that like even people who are trying to get into IT like just don't want to fully comprehend because they want to skip things and they want to jump ahead, and it's always just like rush rush rush. But like really the best lesson I can give to you, Tiberius, and I appreciate you asking this question. I'm very proud of what you are doing and very happy for you, first of all. And him and I have had conversations kind of similar to this, but really it's like the more you do this, the more you learn something, the more you practice it, like the better you will be. And really like that is the best lesson, because even like this will be my 10th year of doing YouTube. And
That's crazy.
that is, you know, that is crazy. It's absolutely like just mind blowing to me, like when I have to think about that. But yeah, it's like it's taken years to like get to a point where it's like you have like a good understanding of things. You feel comfortable with things. You know, like the first probably 200 videos that I did, like I hated the sound of my voice. I could not handle it. Like it was just terrible. You know, but now I've done over 1,000 videos at this point, and it's just like, I mean, as we learned earlier in the pre-show, like I still like don't listening to the sound of my own voice, you know, but like it's tolerable now, you know. But it's just like it just takes time. It just really takes time, and if it's something that you're passionate about and you want to do, you know, the time that you take to build it, to learn it, the better it will be. Just like learning, technology, you know.
That's it. It's just a, like you said, just getting in there and doing it. I found myself a lot of times you kind of get analysis paralysis, where you're like, I don't really, it's not really going to be good. I don't think that's going to be, great. Obviously, I'm not one to speak because I don't have like a multi 100,000 YouTube, but I have been on camera quite a bit, And, if we're counting TechNado, then yes, I do, because I've been on quite a few TechNado
Oh, you got
podcasts.
fans.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen the comments.
By the way, it gets weird in the comment section from time to time. Don't worry about that, by the way.
Tell me about it.
Yep. It just kind of
Yeah.
move on with your life. Don't click any links. Obviously, you know that. I don't have to tell you any of that action. What I found interesting is like when I don't receive a lot of hate in the comment section, and sometimes I'll get constructive criticism, which I totally enjoy. I thoroughly like that kind of stuff. But every now and then you'll get someone who's like, this is a complete waste of my time. This was dumb or whatever. And you want to be, my proclivity, my nature would be to bite back quite harshly. And I have to stop myself from making a knee-jerk reaction and then go, you know what? That's cool. And just comment back and say, because I comment to every comment on my YouTube channel. Unless I miss it. Like sometimes that does happen, like slips by me. I forget or whatever.
But not on purpose.
But not on purpose. And so when I get those haters, I just say, I'm really sorry that you didn't like what you saw. And I'm sorry that you feel like your time was wasted. Here are some other cybersecurity related channels. Here's the Cyber Mentor. Here's Black Hills. Go check out Red Siege. Go, and
don't they like backpedal sometimes?
I have actually had someone go, man, I didn't mean to come off so harsh. I had a bad day. And your stuff is awesome. And I'm like, thanks. I'm glad. So don't be quick to like let that stuff get you in the right here. Just be like, hey, maybe you're having a bad day. Yeah. Just let that roll off.
Yeah. There's a lot of good lessons that y'all have learned from your years in YouTube. I don't have years in YouTube, so I can't personally say. But what you said about like hearing the sound of your own voice and watching yourself back, how it's like you eventually just get desensitized to it. I cringed.
I got
so
desensitized
much.
to your voice. Thank goodness.
Yeah, well, that 2 days after I started working here, that happened. Yeah, I didn't take long. But yeah,
she just talks and talks.
I really do. It's a problem. You only see what's on camera, but it's worse in the office. So we'll go ahead and
you
move
guys
on.
should do like a YouTube show or something where you like talk to people or something. That would be like a really good idea.
Just talking.
Just talking. That's it.
That's just my TikTok. That's
How's
all
it
that
going?
is. It's just
It's
me
just my
talking.
TikTok.
I already do that. I don't get paid to do it.
It's the voices in her head she's talking to, but yeah.
They don't. They talk back sometimes.
Well, you gotta have an intelligent conversation from time to time, don't you?
Intelligent.
Yeah.
We do have. I know we've got that banner down below that shows the questions, and we have breaking news that'll pop up there from time to time. We had a little breaking news banner that popped up a little while ago. The Tiberius is watching. So just so you know, I feel like that's going to be a recurring theme this show, is that it's going to be breaking news that broke about 5 minutes ago. So we will see. We will see what happens. But
now in the weather.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It was raining last week. We'll go ahead and move on. We've got another question. This comes to us from a Zoom viewer. Chris wants to know, for someone looking to break into cyber, particularly red team or offensive, what is the most important skill to obtain or cultivate, or the skill that you use most often?
Great question. Love this question. And, guests first. I always like to let Zach have the first crack at things like this. And you have worked around these folks quite well. I'm sure you picked up a tip or two when it comes to a question such as.
I have, I think this is a great question. And I'm going to take it a little bit different because there's a lot of the technical skills and things that you're going to learn as you go through your journey, as you become a pen tester one day. But like the most important skill that you can really try to cultivate right now is like your documentation and writing skills. Because like if you really want to be a pen tester and be, red team focused, you're going to be writing reports. And that's something like if you're not used to doing, like you need to be able to write really good reports, because that's like one of the things I think really most stands out with a lot of organizations as they're looking for their new talent. Because again, technical skills and all that, it could be learned on the job with a lot of things. Like obviously for a role like this, you're going to want to learn a lot ahead of time. But even still, like once you get into like a red team or an offensive role, like they're going to teach you how, to do things like their way, So it's like, this is all stuff that can be learned, but like, yeah, the documentation part, like learning how to write reports, that's something that's going to probably take a lot of people a long time to figure out and understand and get good at. And I think a lot of people who are looking to get into that side of the field, like never even think about that. So that's where I want to like spin it different for you.
I want to wrap Zach's answer up in. He said, they can teach you Cobalt Strike. They can't teach you to use English. Right?
Correct.
That's
That's
basically
right.
what it boiled down to. And what's so
That's
funny
yeah.
is have heard that so much, and I don't understand it honestly. Like people that do this job are obviously very smart people, but for whatever reason, that is a unicorn skill to be able to write without needing crayons and a Denny's placemat, right? This I heard people saying that we had one guy try to turn in a report that was written in Notepad and was just rife with spelling and grammatical errors, and it was so unprofessional. They were masters. They were phenomenal during the actual test when they were doing all the technical stuff. They were really good at that. But when it came time to delivering a report that somebody wanted to see, that was where they abysmally failed. And I think this is one of the best answers that you are going to get. And I think that if you asked anybody in the field, not just us, that you are going to get that answer. They're not going to tell you, oh, go get better at using C2 frameworks, or go get better at doing web app pen testing, or go get better at Wi-Fi hacking or physical pen testing skills. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to say those are necessary skills, but the ones that we tend to see people fail at are soft skills, being able to present and talk with people that aren't technically savvy, but yet are very invested and are stakeholders in what's going on in this process. You need to be able to speak to them and deliver them a report in a way that they understand it. You can speak to their level, not that you're speaking down to them, but you just leave out all the technical stuff. And you need to be able to speak at the technical level, and you need to be doing that yourself as a professional. If you are using Word or any other reporting software that you're going to use, whatever the case is going to be, when you see a little red squiggly line up underneath a word, you should probably take a look and see, did I misspell that? Right click, correct grammar. You see the blue squiggly lines. That means you did something wrong, or it thinks you did, and you should probably just check that. Take that time, go over those things and go, look what I did there. I'm actually pretty good at grammar and spelling and things of that nature. I know I'm going to make mistakes. They have tools like Grammarly. AI will help you. These are where AI can actually be very helpful to the pen tester, to the red teamer.
Hmm.
Hey, check my report and look for grammatical errors. And I'm looking for a better word. I keep using the word like. Give me 10 synonyms for the word like, so that I can make my report a little more readable. Right? These are the skills that if you hone. I literally knew someone applied for a job. They did as a pen tester. They didn't get the job. And thank goodness they followed up, say, hey, it's cool that I didn't get the job. Why did I not get the job? Can you give me some insights on that so that I can brush up those skills or whatever the case was that kept me from getting the job? And the hiring manager said, you actually had a lot of really good skills, but what you didn't have was anything that talked about your report writing skills. We need someone that can come drop in today and write professional reports. And you didn't have anything on your resume that talked about that. So if you could, and their advice was, go do a bunch of CTFs and write those up as if they were engagements. Put those reports in a repository like Gitbook or something, so that people can look at them. You just give them a link and go, have experience writing reports. Here are links to reports I have written, so that you can see my quality of work. And that becomes another skill that you are able to showcase on your resume, so that you can prove to them, not just say, yeah, I know how to write a report, and then you're turning in Denny's placemats. They can go, I expect this level, and they can see that you can do it. So that's always been my advice on this.
Yeah, I would challenge Chris from Zoom to like if you're not like taking really good notes right now, not learning how to document things better, start learning how to do that right now. So just like Daniel said, like anytime you are doing like a CTF, like hack the box, try hack me, whatever, document that process, write it out, like you said, as a report. But just start learning how to do that, and then like ChatGPT can be like a great avenue just to kind of help you. Don't use that as that's like the end all be all, but there's a lot of ways that it can help you learn to word things better. It'll help with your grammar. I wish it could help me talk better.
We're just gonna get 11 Labs, Zach.
I mean, even just in like Microsoft Word, I know it. They've always had, or for a long time, they've had the spelling, right? The little red squiggly line, like you mentioned, and then they had the grammatical stuff. They would, oh, maybe you could phrase this better. But they've gotten so specific with the stuff that they'll check for. I was writing, this is real. I was writing something in Word the other day, and it flagged something as like, oh, you might want to check this. Sensitive geopolitical reference. I don't even remember what I wrote. It wasn't anything controversial, but it flagged it for me to double check it. I don't even remember what it was. So it gets so specific with the stuff it will have you check. Even if you didn't have, I mean, Grammarly is a great tool as well, but even if you just had Word, using the tools that Word gives you is like in and of itself, it's got so much that it'll tell you.
Yeah.
So
it's a very powerful. Now, don't hear us say, have ChatGPT write your reports.
Right.
That is not what we are saying.
Didn't say that.
Yeah, we
Nobody
never
said
that.
Nobody
Don't you
said
put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Did not say that. And a lot of companies are like, I mean, you might want to check with whomever if you are in that space, whether or not your company allows for you to use that as a tool at all, because it might be a persona non grata around there because they just don't want the stigma of it may have been written with ChatGPT. So your mileage may vary when it comes to your usage of AI for those things, but they just can be a help to go,
sure.
Hey, I'm struggling with the phrasing of this, and can you help me with that? And you make it your own. That's how you use that. You don't copy pasta and there's my report. Don't do that.
Right.
Okay. So that's what you want to avoid.
Right. It's a tool you can use, but
Correct.
your results may vary. Don't abuse it. So we'll go ahead and move on.
Let's do it.
I know we talk about AI and ChatGPT pretty much every show that we do. So
I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. There's a reason we talk about it every show.
I brought it up.
It's prevalent. Like it is literally. That's so many questions about that. But we've got a question here from LinkedIn, Abed Al-Aziz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I would like to apologize if I'm not.
Sounded pretty good, though.
Thank you. Sounded official. I
It
said it
sounded
confidently.
like it's right.
Oh, well, then I should.
I butcher everybody's names, and you sound
good.
like that's just sounded amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You did
You
great.
fooled me.
I'm classically trained in
Yes.
talking all the time. But they want to know, what are your thoughts about taking a course, even if you can't get the cert? For example, I want to take a Security Plus course, but it's hard for me to take the cert, I guess probably the exam at this moment. Personally, I know I'm not the expert.
Mm-hmm.
I watch our courses all the time just to learn the stuff, because I'll be hosting courses here at ACI Learning, and there's no possible way I could get the cert for every single course that I host. I'm not the one teaching it. I don't have the time. There's no way. Also, it's expensive. But even just watching the videos or being in the videos, it's still good stuff to learn. I don't have to take the exam to benefit from it. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. Never. I had a friend of mine. He was in the Air Force and the Army National Guard. Wow. Like he went from the Air Force to the Air Guard. And he said they would just offer them schools to do stuff. And he said somebody told him, and he passed it on to me, and I'm passing it on to you. Never turn down an education. Never turn it down. So even if you can't get that cert, certs are great. Like I think certs are phenomenal. They have their place. They're useful. But that doesn't mean they're like you said, the end all be all to everything. If you can gain that information and not get the cert, that's better than nothing, right? If you actually have those skills, and I've said this on my own stuff in my own ways in interviews that I've done when people are asking me these things, I guess we're asking it now, is I would love to see the IT space in general, and specifically cybersecurity, become more like the developer world, where yes, there are great certs, and go get those great certs. And we as a community should be lauding the good ones and decrying the bad ones so that they make their way onto the right HR function and they start to see those in job postings so that is what's happening. Right. And then, but yeah, I like Zach got that. Right. But then you have a body of work, and that is what proves that you know things as well. So it takes away the power of it just being the cert. So if I don't have a cert that's maybe very expensive, I'm thinking of like SAN certs, very expensive to be able to get your hands on that stuff. That's beyond many of the average everyday Joe or Josephine, as it may be, out there trying to do something with their life in cybersecurity. So what if you were also able to go, but look at all this stuff that I've done And I have taken those courses. I just didn't have the money to pass those certifications or take the certifications, right? Still, I think for me, I would say yes. Just go get that knowledge, stick it in your head. Zach, what do you say?
I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I agree with you guys, like 100%. Honestly, that's right where I'm at with you.
Good. Put the stick down, Zach. Jeez. So
Sorry,
always talking.
I don't want to waste any more time like going over the same thing. It's just like I agree 100%. Like it's knowledge. Please learn everything that you can, and it's not a race either. So don't learn everything you can as fast as you can. Like working in IT is it is a learning journey. So you're always going to be learning something new, and you don't always have to have a certification behind you to give you that like seal of approval that that information. Go through like a Security Plus course, learn that information. All of that information, I promise you, 100% is going to be very valuable to know. You don't necessarily have to have that cert, behind you to, again, give you that seal that you did it. Like you got that knowledge, you gained that. So how can you show people you have that?
I mean,
write a blog, make a video, put something on GitHub, right? Like there's so many different ways. I'm sorry.
You literally just like, I was about to say the exact same thing.
Yeah. I'm only laughing because he did a little hurrah like, over here. Yeah.
Yes, right, exactly. Picture this, Berlin, 1945, right? The Allied forces have moved in, and you are, okay, I don't have the resources or the time or whatever to go for whatever reason you got for not being able to take the certification. But imagine you have a blog or you have a YouTube channel or you have whatever social media outlet where you are constantly teaching, talking, and directing people to things that are about that stuff that would be in that certification. And you're able to you're speaking about it intelligibly. People are starting to follow you. Remember I said, you have a body of work. You can now go, yes, I don't have Security Plus. Now, if a job needs that, right? If they're like, we require that, it's a non, what are they, conversation stopper. It's a conversation stopper if you don't have that. We require it. Still, even if it says it's a requirement, still apply because you never know. Sometimes that's just smoke up your
100%.
whatever, right? So still apply. But let's say you get there and they're like, oh man, we love you. We'd love to have you on, but you don't have your Security Plus. And you go, cool. The only thing that's stopping me from getting it is, the $300 or $400 or whatever the case is for me going, I need this job. If I had the job, I'd have the money to go get it. I just don't, whatever. Can we work something out? I guarantee I'll get that. And they'd be like, yeah, totally. A lot of companies will do that. They'll sponsor you to go get the cert that you need to have so that they can hire you and have that. So always apply for jobs that you don't have the cert for, even if as long as you have the knowledge for it. If you feel comfortable with that body of knowledge, don't worry about not having that cert. Throw it on there anyway, as far as like have that level of knowledge. You don't say you have the cert, but say you have that level of knowledge, and they might be willing to work with you. It might be a non-starter, but you never know until you try. So still go after it, and you can still point to your body of knowledge, and you never know. Maybe that becomes a thing that you can monetize or that you were able to save up for, and then you go get the cert and you can put it on, and now you can start applying more easily for those jobs. As Zach said, it's a journey, right? Today, you might not be able to do that. Well, who knows what tomorrow brings?
Wow. I feel like I'm at Walt Disney World right now. That was inspiring. Today, you might not be able to.
That's right.
Who knows what tomorrow brings?
And our transatlantic accents.
I was going to say, Walt Disney. He's, I don't know. He was alive during that time.
I love it.
He's still alive in his cryotube, right?
For a split second, I was like, what do you know that I don't?
So he was cryogenically frozen?
I think
so. Or
so.
there's like a rumor that he
there
was
is
or whatever.
There is a theory that the reason that they named the movie Frozen instead of the Snow Queen, the traditional title, there's a theory they did that so that when you Google Disney Frozen, Walt Disney Frozen,
it wasn't Walt Disney in a
the
cryogenic
tank stuff didn't come up. It's a theory. I can't say that it's,
Oh, man.
But I'm just saying that it's out there.
That's funny.
So,
yeah,
anyway.
It's like the game Elden Ring. They named the horse in the game Torrent. So, that was the name of the horse. Yes. Oh. So, if you Googled Elden Ring Torrent, because, for whatever reasons, right? Like
you got
the horse would show up in Google.
That's
so you'd have
funny.
all this information about the horse. I was like, that is genius.
It really is.
That is just next level. Like I love that.
Funny.
I do enjoy it. That's a hacker thing right there, man. That someone was a hacker. I read somebody in a comment section that it was like, name your like if you create like an admin user, say you've compromised the system, name your backdoor user Kerberos. I was like, that's not a bad idea.
Pretty good. Well, we do have, time is flying today. The show's going super fast, but we do have still plenty of question to get through. So we'll go to this next one.
Go.
Richard is watching on Zoom. Richard wants to know, how do hack the box certs fit into, it says I'm resident Disney expert. That's great. That's not true. That has not been confirmed or denied.
Love that.
How do hack the box certs fit into the path of red team certs? I want to go from EJPT to OSCP, but I want to do things in the right order. I don't know what those acronyms mean, so I'm going to leave that to you guys.
Yeah. Zach, I'll be interested in your take on this. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with like the hack the box certs at this point because like some of them are newer. And I was also working for like a different body that had like their own certification, right? Which very good friends with them still at TCM Security. So like I would look into those certifications too, honestly. If you're looking to go from EJPT to OSCP, like TCM Security has a PJPT, which is a practical junior professional tester certification. So it's more like that entry level type. You do more of like an internal pen test, but you learn how to do that on that platform there. And then like the next level is like the PNPT, practical network penetration tester. That one is like it very much like mimics an external and internal pen test. And it's very much like hands-on realistic. I would definitely like steer everybody down that route. If that like based on the path that you're telling me, like that would be an excellent path for you to take from EJPT to OSCP. Because OSCP, when you look at it, like even now still like certification wise for red teaming positions, pen test positions, things like that, the OSCP is one of those certs that's still out there, like being like almost required in a lot of for a lot of these types of jobs, but it's definitely one of those certs that helps you stand out a lot more. And that's not to say like the TCM security certs don't stand out. They're definitely growing significantly and doing a fantastic job. But like right now, yeah, like OSCP is still like it's way up there. But yeah, that's like I guess what I would recommend. And I'm sorry that I can't give you too much info on Hack the Box, but I have heard amazing things about them, and it's a platform that I always recommend.
Yeah, Hack the Box is great. I've got to deal with the folks at Hack the Box before. I've used Hack the Box plenty in the past because I in my experience, right, I'm going to speak from there. I'm not going to absolutely say this is X, Y, and Z, but for my experience, there is no like right path, right? There are people that have gotten jobs without any certs whatsoever, and then there's people that are certed out of their mind and they get jobs. So it's kind of hard. It's typically a one-fits-one solution, but there will be common things that you see. Now, I will say that I do know for a fact that Hack the Box cert for their penetration testing, anything Hack the Box does, you better bring a sack lunch and your A game and probably somebody else's. They do not play around. Their stuff is very hard. John Hammond failed it, right? John Hammond's not known for failing anything, right? So he's got a few good reasons for why that was he didn't expect it to be as hard as it was, so he didn't put as much effort into it. This is all word. I'm not speaking out of school. This is, you can go check out his YouTube channel, and he has a whole video on why he failed it and that he did. So, and I know John very well, and we talked about this cert, and it's hard to go, but like Zach said, it's still pretty new as well. So it probably doesn't have the notoriety. It's not going to be on a lot of HRs. Now, the good news is I have seen, because I always try to like probably just 2 or 3 times a month, I'll jump on job boards and start looking at pen testers, red teamers, vulnerability assessment, all the jobs in that offensive role. And I'll start seeing what are the requirements that they see, or what are the likes, or what are the nice to haves, what are the need to haves, what are the responsibilities, so that I can keep my finger on the pulse of, you know, what skills are relevant in the job space, what certifications are relevant in the job space. I've started to see a trend, and because a lot of really good certs have come out recently, much like TCM's PJPT, PNPT, Hack the Box, and their stuff, like there's certs coming out all over the place. They're just popping up like a rash, and for the better, right? That's to the end user's benefit. they can't keep up with it. So what they do is they say OSCP or similar certification, right? Or like certification, or something that is in the same vein of an OSCP, a blank, blank, blank. And they start naming off the ones that they do know of and would like to see that kind of skill set. And the cool thing is like so PNPT, right, from TCM. I would say it's a very interesting dynamic to look at them side by side from OSCP. Very similar in what you need to know, but different in how you get the cert and how the end game is and how you would apply those skills to gain those certifications. I would say, from my experience, that PNPT much more realistic, whereas OSCP is more like a really difficult CTF or a group of CTFs. You have to do like 5 CTFs, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I agree with that 100%.
Right. Heath was like, well, 100%. You're going to be a pen tester. Let's make it like a pen test. You actually deliver an oral report. You actually deliver, not that you don't deliver a written report in OSCP, but it's nowhere near as like true to life. It's 5 days of hacking and a couple of days of delivering when it comes to PNPT, whereas OSCP is just, you get like, 24 hours to write your report and deliver that. And then I hope everything is right. And then you receive.
You sound like you work for TCM Security, Daniel. I love it.
Well, I've missed opportunity, right? But every cert, right back at you, right? That's the big. You guys can't see that.
Wow.
Yeah, big hearts.
Love.
There it is.
Not really anatomically correct, but we'll take it.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry.
All right. Well,
and of course, like not certification related, and I don't want to. Not that I would get in trouble, but like anti-siphon training from Black Hills,
phenomenal training.
They have.
Do you guys have
training.
certs?
John Strand is a legend. No, I wouldn't call them like cert. We have certificates
of completion.
Of completion, yeah.
But
we'll have some exciting things coming up because you asked earlier, like what I'll be doing over there. I'm really kind of like overseeing the anti-siphon training and building out that platform.
That's gonna be awesome.
So if you guys, like training is, here's another, never mind. But I won't get into all of that. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Let me tell you what, if you put on your resume, I did anti-siphon training with Black Hills, that's good stuff. That is gold. You should totally put that on there, because who you've taken training with can be as equally weighty as what certifications you have. Because people in the industry know. Might not necessarily be an HR bypass, but if you're working directly with hiring managers, and sometimes you do, they're going to know those names. They're going to know that company, because they're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Don't know John Strand.
Yeah.
It's kind of
it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely talked quite a bit about Black Hills during this show, and for good reason, because it's just that reason alone. People know them for a reason, because they're great at what they do, and they care about the community, it seems like. So I did want to mention 100%. In April, John's actually going to be coming on the show. So if you want to see John Strand live, here answering questions, make sure to tune in April. And also, I want to say, I could be remembering wrong, but I think there are going to be maybe some Black Hills folks at Hack SpaceCon. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Bo.
There are going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I was just in a chat the other day. There's like 6 or 7 people from Black Hills going.
That's a few.
A few of them are doing some trainings and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. They're everywhere.
They are.
I'm not going though, and I'm very sad. I really wanted to go.
Man.
You'll be there.
Everybody I know is going to be there.
Yeah, I know.
We'll have a Zach Hill cardboard cutout. We'll bring with us.
Is it too early for you to take PTO?
Right? I could maybe ask. I don't know.
Right?
I could go stay with my mom. Speaking of, hi mom. I know my mom is watching. My mom watches like literally for the last 10 years. She's watched every single video or live stream that I've done or guest on.
Aww.
So hi mom.
Mama loves her baby boy.
That's so sweet. I love that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I am the baby boy.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My mom watches everything we do. Nothing wrong with it at all. They're our biggest fans.
My
right?
mom disowned me. No, I'm kidding.
There you go.
My mom's crying right now because she's like, I can't believe you said hi to me. Guarantee it.
Well, we do have. I know we've had like the scrolling ticker going for part of this, and when we don't, there's questions that come in, but we comments as well. Somebody actually said in the comments that you're that their favorite YouTuber that they watch. So I didn't know if you
I
caught that or
am?
not. Mm-hmm.
So you're the
Daniel's
one.
my favorite YouTuber. Yeah. So just thought I'd let you know in case you missed that. But I know we do still have a lot of questions to get through, and we are coming close to the top of the hour. We actually have a relatively new segment we've been trying out the last few shows, and it's gone pretty well, pretty popular so far. It's our rapid fire segment. So let's take a look. Well, Daniel, you know the drill. Zach, if you're not familiar, this is basically going to be, we're going to try to get through as many questions as we can. You guys will have 30 seconds to answer them to the best of your ability. Once the 30 seconds are up, we're going to move on to the next question. No pressure.
Think of me as your lifeline. If you're like, pass, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, he'll spit something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Zealand, next.
Sound good?
So, are these all questions that we're getting from the chat?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right. Awesome. We will go ahead and jump in. This first question comes to us from Davey. Davey says, can you explain how the new report on cookies and cross-device tracking relates to cybersecurity?
No.
No.
You got me.
Yeah, it's a new report. I haven't even seen this yet.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look.
Can I ask ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Phone a friend.
Well, now we have homework. That's good.
Got
We
homework. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, we don't come away with that very
Yeah.
often. So, okay. So we will go ahead and jump to the next one. Davey will do our best to answer that for you maybe
Yeah,
in the next show.
let's get his info and we'll see if we can
we'll reach out
shoot
to
him something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
This one's from Victor. Victor says, have the latest rounds of tech layoffs affected the possibility to land a role in cybersecurity?
No. There's always going to be open jobs no matter what. Like, I feel like the whole, like, there's like all these layoffs, and then you hear like, oh, there's like 40 million like open jobs in cybersecurity and blah 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 blah. There's always going to be layoffs. There's always going to be people hiring. I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you've got marketable skills and they have it, and as Zach said, there are openings. They might be laying off people in tech, but they're probably not laying off the important things in tech. And if they are, it's because that person is not pulling their weight.
Okay. That's that little sound effect that plays, I guess,
Timer?
means the,
Yeah,
that
it's
means
the
the
timer.
30 seconds are
Moving
up.
on.
Okay, Julio from Zoom wants to know, what are mandatory certifications that would be beneficial to get a job in the cybersecurity realm?
None. No. Mandatory, maybe. I wouldn't even call it mandatory, but I feel like Security Plus is just like one of those fundamental, like, that is like the fundamental baseline certification in security.
Yeah, it has the benefit of being 8570. So it kind of opens a lot of doors, and it kind of shows that you can learn things about cybersecurity and pass a test about them and prove some knowledge.
I heard they're changing the 8570 or something. There's
They did
news
change
about
the
that.
nomenclature to something else, so
Okay.
but
Yeah.
everybody still
All right.
thinks of it that way.
Okay, so not mandatory, but Security Plus, good
Yeah.
place to start. This next one comes to us from Nerman. Nerman wants to know, I was looking into Jerry Ozier's GRC Analyst Masterclass. Thoughts on his course? Any others out there I should check out?
Jerry all the way. I love Jerry. Jerry, like, he was the first person that I called and told that I got the job at Black Hills.
Aw.
Like, that's how much I love Jerry. Him and I are very close on a personal level, but like, yeah, Jerry Auzier's class, phenomenal.
That dude is like
That's it.
the cybersecurity glue that binds us, right? Like that dude knows everybody. He's good to everybody. His community is phenomenal. So and he's super smart. So great teacher.
Yeah.
You'll love his stuff.
Yeah.
I just finished that course.
That's
and
right.
I would highly recommend it. Super cool, lots of hands-on stuff. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And my grandma loves Jerry, so he's got a wide audience.
Yeah.
If you're new to cybersecurity,
Love
you'll be
that.
able to understand what he's saying. This next question comes to us from Chris Mintz. Fun name. How many stickers does Sophie have on her laptop? It seems like a lot. Any guesses from you guys?
30.
30, okay. Any guesses from you, Zach?
27.
27. I know it's upwards of 30. I think it's close to 40. I'll see if I can get a count at the end of the show on
That'd
how
be
many
good.
stickers I have. But you guys are both within
Good
that
luck.
range.
All
yeah.
right.
So thanks, Chris Mintz, for that question. This next one comes to us from Christopher. Christopher says, how do highly technical individuals decide which skills to emphasize on their resume for effective initial screening, especially if the screener isn't technical?
This is an excellent question because you should be tailoring your resume. Like, I'm sorry I'm going to say this and it's going to be a pain in the butt for you, but you should be tailoring your resume to every single job that you're applying for so that you have the best odds of standing out and getting an interview. Again, a lot of work, but if you want to get an interview, you really need to tailor that resume to match that job description and what they're looking for if you have those skills.
Ditto.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love when you guys just agree and
That
it's
is
like,
the
that's
answer.
it.
Yeah.
That's all we have to say. So this
It's like
next,
rapid fire thought.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true. You're right.
That's
It is
Like,
very
cool.
fast paced. Going back to Security Plus, Gustavo wants to know. He says, "I'm about to take my Security Plus exam. What are my chances as a 40-year-old guy to get into cyber and have a successful career?"
the same odds that you would have if you were 18 years old or 70 years old. Like, join us in cyber.
Yeah.
We will welcome you with open arms.
Ditto.
Aw. I love that. How
Right.
sweet.
It's just I love these questions because it's like there is an actual objective answer to this.
Right. Yeah. Those are the easier ones to
Yeah.
answer. Yeah. The ones that are, what do you think? It's
Yeah.
like, well, let me get back to you.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be, I think, our last one for rapid fire. Anon from Zoom. Everyone talks about how to be a red or blue teamer. What do you recommend to move to a cyber engineering role? Any specific training or certs to go for?
I think blue team typically is like the easier to get into, and I would highly recommend in this case the SOC course from John Strand at Anti-Siphon Training. It's a live training. It's pay what you can. So if you have no money, you can take it for free. But it's a live training where you're actually able to sit in there with him. But you'll learn like what it takes to be like a SOC analyst, and that's a route that I would take to get into cyber.
Yeah, love that answer. I'll just throw on top of that. Look at like maybe a vendor cert like Splunk. If you've got some hands-on with Splunk and you kind of prove some Splunk skills, that's very cyber engineering kind of thing. So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that brings
Sorry,
us.
it took all your time chilling.
No, hey,
That was the purpose.
That was the purpose. Yes, yeah. We're right up at the end of the hour, which is perfect.
Zach is sorry that he did the thing we asked him to do.
Yeah.
Right? I get yelled at all the time. Like everybody thinks I'm Canadian because I'm always apologizing. It's just
yeah.
like
Well, we did not
Very-
warn Zach
You're close.
about.
Great.
We didn't warn him about the rapid fire, so thank you for being a good sport,
Yeah.
jumping right into that. Those are always super fun. I'm
They
glad
are
we
fun.
decided.
I enjoy the rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm glad we decided to keep that around. So,
yeah, that was fun. Next time we do this, can we schedule like 2 hours instead of 1 hour? Because I totally feel like we could sit here for 2 hours
yeah.
and answer a bunch of questions and have fun. I'm pretty sure the people like would love to see that. So can you guys like make a poll for that? Because
I just
I
hear
would love to
Kathy in my
come
ear
back.
going, "Yep."
Okay, cool.
we've done it once
Thank you.
before.
Did
I
we do a
think
2 hour?
just it was by accident because like scheduling got messed up. There was a conflict, and so the person that was coming on as a guest was like, "Hey, I can't be here at that time. You gotta wait."
She's saying it was John Strand. John Strand was on.
there you go.
And he did, out of nowhere is like, "Here's my laptop. Let's look at this." And he spun up all this like Active Directory environment and started doing stuff. And we're like, it's so good. It's so beautiful.
The angelic chorus in the background.
Yeah, it was awesome. Can't wait to have him back on.
Yeah. And we had people stick around for the full
I'm
2
excited
hours.
for that.
Yeah.
We know we can do it. It's just whether we can do it. Like,
Yeah.
because it is a bit of time.
Well, I'm down. So
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
You let me know, and I will be here
Yes.
anytime.
Yes.
So I couldn't get an exact count because I'm multitasking, but it's either 38 or 39 stickers on my
Really?
laptop. Some of them are small. I've got like a Black Hills. I've got a little, here, I'll put that up there. Some of them are cybersecurity. Some of them are pop culture. I've got some, YouTube or video game
I like
movie stickers.
how like maybe not ironically, just oddly enough, TCM and Black Hills are touching each other.
Are
Yeah,
they?
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, I really do love that.
There you go.
It's just like
That's
so
good.
fitting.
That's
Yes.
how I
Thank
think
you.
I've got a couple of each on there. There's definitely it's an amalgamation of stuff that I'm gonna have to get some goog on and remove eventually, unfortunately. And then I have
luck.
an original IT Pro logo, but it's on the other side, so you can't see it. It's on my
She
keyboard.
hides it.
And, well, I didn't know that was when I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize I could put stickers on here. I didn't think it was allowed. And then they said you can do it. You just have to remove them. So there you go. But that's gonna bring us. We've got through all our questions. Any parting remarks before we sign off today?
Yeah, it was just really nice to have Zach back in the room with us, if not virtually. But it's always a good time hanging out with you, bro.
Oh, so next time you're saying that you guys are gonna fly me out there to do this in person for 2 hours, like that
don't-
would be like such a good experience for everybody. So I'm down for that.
Don't
Thank
threaten
you
me
for
with
that
a good
invite,
time,
by the way.
okay?
Yeah.
Kathy's like, Zach, darn you.
Yeah.
I love you all, and for everybody who showed up, thank you for showing up and,
Yes.
and asking questions. And like, I'm gonna do your job for you, kind of, but I'm sorry if we did not get to your questions. And hopefully, we get scheduled another time so you guys can come back and we can answer more questions. But really, like, thank you all for taking the time to join us and be here with us, because like that, this means a lot. And doing these things is very, very important. It really can help you further your career by just participating in these community events like this. So thank you. And sorry
Zach,
for taking your jobs.
That's where I'm going to have to agree to agree. So,
Even when you're agreeing, you're aggressive about it. It's like a staple of your personality. Well, then that's going to do it for our show today, if that is pretty much all she wrote. So thank you again, Zach, for joining us. If I have my druthers, you'll definitely be back on. I think he's second or third time repeat guest, so obviously we love having you here. And of course, Daniel will be here for next month's show as well because he doesn't have a choice. He's chained to the desk. So thank you, Daniel, for being
Can't
here,
wait.
even though you don't have a choice. Thank you all for joining us. We've got another webinar next week about tech resumes. Join us for that. But until then, see you next time. Have a great day.